Hello students, myself Shamal Davange from KKV College of Pharmacy. Today we will perform isolation and detection of diasgenin from diascoria and estimation of diasgenin by thin layer chromatography. So here are the requirements for isolation of diasgenin: round bottom flask, Soxhlet extractor, electric heating mantle, magnetic stirrer, beaker, funnel. Chemical requirements are methanol, dilute HCl, alcohol, and the drug required is Diascorea. Tubers are required in powder form. So, Diascorea, it is a yam or rheumatism roots, and the biological source, it consists of dried tubers of plants, Diascorea deltoida, Diascorea composita, and other species of Diascorea belonging to the family Diascoreaceae. The microscopic characters of Diascorea, so it is slightly brown in color, which is odorless, taste is bitter, and sizes varies depending upon the age of rhizome, and it is a climber. This is the structure of diasgenin, which we are going to isolate from Diascorea, which is the active chemical constituent of Diascorea. So the uses of Diascorea, it is used as a precursor for synthesis of several corticosteroids, sex hormones, and oral contraceptives used in treatment of rheumatic arthritis. So this is the procedure by which we are going to perform isolation. So the rhizomes were collected, okay, and they were powdered. Then they were subjected for extraction by using methanol as a solvent for 6 hours. So here Soxhlet assembly was assembled. Then the extract was collected and filtered and concentrated. So it was concentrated by assembling the distillation assembly. When the concentrated mass is semi-solid in nature, so the dilute HCl was added to the concentrated semi-solid mass and it was stirred over the magnetic stirrer for 6 hours. Okay. Then after that, while stirring, the precipitate of diasgenin are observed. And then that precipitate was filtered and purified with alcohol, and thus the diasgenin crystals were obtained.
So now we will see what are the requirements for the practical, that is performing the extraction of diasgenin from Diascorea tubers. So first of all we will require the Diascorea tubers. Okay. So these are the Diascorea tubers and I have powdered them and weighed them. So 20 gram of powder is taken, coarsely powder. Okay. Then alcohol we are going to use is ethanol. Vaseline is there for lubrication of the apparatus. Empty beaker is required, glass rod, cotton is required, spatula, and this is the most important part, that is Soxhlet extractor. Okay, Soxhlet extractor, the RBF and the condenser is required as an extraction assembly, that is Soxhlet extraction assembly. So for Diascorea tubers we are going to use Soxhlet extraction apparatus for extraction purpose. So first of all we will prepare a thimble from the filter paper. Just size of the extractor is to be measured properly so that the thimble will be made properly. Instead of filter paper we can also use muslin cloth over here for the purpose of thimble. Thimble is a bag in which we are going to place our drug. With the help of the pins, we will pack this bag so that the powder will not spill out in the extractor. Now our thimble is ready. So this is the thimble we will require. Okay. Now our thimble is ready. We will lubricate the extractor. We will place first we have to place the cotton. The cotton should be placed such a way that this end should get sealed. Okay, this end of the siphoning tube should get sealed. Okay. So here the cotton has been placed and you can see the end gets sealed with the cotton. Okay, this is the siphoning tube where the siphoning takes place. This is the vapor tube. Okay, and we have to seal the siphoning tube. Now we will place the thimble in the extractor. We will add powder into the thimble slowly, and side by side we have to add the solvent which we are going to use for the extraction, so that the thimble will not get blocked. So now the thimble has been filled, okay, with the drug as well as the alcohol. Okay, you can see up till this mark we have to fill the thimble. Now we will close this thimble. So this is the first manual siphoning. Okay, up to 2 manual siphoning we have to add the solvent into the extractor. Now we will add again solvent and the second cycle will be done. So this is the second manual cycle. So here we have applied cotton from the top. Okay, so the pressure will be applied to the thimble. This is the portion of the thimble. Okay, this is the cotton as well as this is the cotton. We will add some solvent again. So that the air bubbles in it will get removed. And now we will subject this for extraction. Now the assembly has been assembled. Okay, so now we will start our extraction. So the temperature of the heating metal will be 50 to 60. Okay, as we are having solvent alcohol, and we'll wait for few hours to complete the extraction. The extraction has been completed is the indication that here the liquid gets colorless into the siphoning tube. Okay, I will show you at the end. So now we will see the working of the apparatus. Okay, so here at the bottom there is a RBF, then the Soxhlet extractor is there which is having thimble in it and the condenser, and this whole assembly is known as Soxhlet extraction assembly. Okay, so now we will focus over the Soxhlet extractor. This is the Soxhlet extractor. Okay, this is the tube where we have placed our thimble. Okay, this is the siphoning tube and this is the vapor tube. Okay, as the solvent boils in the RBF, okay, as you can see the boiling has been started. So as the solvent starts boiling, okay, the vapors are there, okay, which from the vapor tubes go to the condenser. Okay, over here this condenser, and the droplets of the condensed solvent drops over the thimble. Okay, and the droplets of the solvent over the thimble, as the droplets of the solvent drops over the thimble, okay, this tube gets filled with the solvent, and depending upon the pressure over the siphoning tube, the solvent from the siphoning tubes get into the RBF again. Okay, it falls down via siphoning tube. Okay, siphoning tube into the RBF, and this is how the cycle of the solvent gets completed. Okay, then when we will understand that the extraction has been completed. So when here the solvent gets colorless, okay, as now you can see the solvent looks like red brown in color. Okay, when the solvent is colorless, after few hours it gets colorless, so that we can see that the extraction has been completed and we can dismantle the assembly. Okay, so here is a simple mechanism of this extraction, that the solvent gets boiled, the vapors pass through the vapor tube into the condenser, then the droplets of the solvent gets condensed and the dropwise they fall onto the thimble. Okay, then as the thimbles get filled with the solvent, pressure over the siphoning tube is exerted, and via siphoning tube the solvent gets again into the RBF. Again the solvent is boiled. So this cycle continues. Okay, and it ends when the solvent in the siphoning tube is colorless. So this is the mechanism of solvent extraction, so now the extraction has been completed, okay, and I have dismantled the assembly. Now we will filter this extract, okay. After filtration we will concentrate this extract, and to that concentrated extract we will add dilute HCl, and after dilute HCl is added we have to stir over the magnetic stirrer for near about few hours, okay. So now first of all we will this is ethanolic extract, we will filter this extract. And after the filtration is complete, we will concentrate the extract. Filtration is done if in case any kind of powder is there inside the extract, so we have to filter it. So now the filtration has been done of the ethanolic extract, okay. I have taken that ethanolic extract in RBF, and this is our distillation assembly to distill out the remaining ethanol, so that the extract will get concentrated in this beaker and the recovered alcohol will be collected over this beaker, in this beaker, okay. So this is the distillation assembly, and now we will on this assembly and we will do the distillation, so that extra of alcohol will be get recovered and the extract will get concentrated. So the temperature will be between 50 to 60 as it is alcohol, okay. And as the heating will get start, the alcohol will get recovered in the next beaker, and we will get the concentrated extract in very less time. So now the alcohol is recollecting in the another RBF, okay. You can see here the collected alcohol, okay, from this side. This way our concentrate in this RBF will get concentrated, and the alcohol recollected or will be used for another purpose, so there will be no wastage of alcohol. Now the alcoholic extract has been concentrated, okay, you can see. So now we will remove this, we will dismantle this distillation assembly, and we will further treat with dilute HCl and stir for a few hours on a magnetic stirrer. So to the alcoholic extract which was concentrated by distillation assembly, by using distillation assembly, now we have added dilute HCl, okay. So this dilute HCl was added to the semi-solid mass, that is alcoholic extract, and you can see some precipitate is seen. Now we will allow this to stir on the magnetic stirrer. The beads are added to the solution already, okay, and now we will stir this on a magnetic stirrer. for a few hours, and then the extract of diagenin will be obtained. So after few hours we will remove this beaker from the stirrer and we will filter, and then the precipitate of diagenyl will be obtained to us. Now we will stop stirring and will filter this solution. So now we will filter this. Okay. So after the precipitate was collected, it was dissolved in the alcohol, okay, and this is the alcoholic solution of that precipitate. Now we will evaporate this, and after evaporation the product of diagenin will be obtained.
So here are the calculations. So weight of empty plate was taken, denoted as A. Okay, then the weight of plate with the drug was taken, denoted as B, and then weight of drug was calculated by subtracting A from B, that is 29.89 minus 29.58, and the drug was found 0.31 gram. Okay, then the percentage yield. So 10 gram of diascoria gives 0.31 gram of diagenin. So the 100 gram of diascoria gives X gram of diagenin. So by cross multiplication, 3.1% of diagenin has been isolated from diascoria. So the percentage yield of diagenin from diascoria was found to be 3.1%. Now we will perform the estimation of isolated diagenin by thin layer chromatography. So thin layer chromatography. Chromatography is a laboratory technique for separation of mixture. The mixture is dissolved in a fluid called the mobile phase, which carries it through a structure holding another material called stationary phase. The various constituents of the mixture travel at different speeds, causing them to separate. The separation is based on differential partitioning between the mobile and the stationary phases. So, thin layer chromatography, it is a separation technique, that is a chromatographic technique used to separate mainly non-volatile mixtures. Thin layer chromatography is performed on a sheet of glass, plastic or aluminum foil, which is coated with a thin layer of adsorbent material, which is usually silica gel, okay, or aluminum oxide or cellulose. In laboratory level, silica gel is used, and the principle behind this is adsorption. So adsorption takes place and the separation takes place between the two components. Stationary phase. So the stationary phase used is mainly the glass plates are used of any size, 20 by 20 centimeter plates or any size including microscopic slide. Then the preparation and activation of stationary phase is done. So for this, the slurry of stationary phase is prepared in a solvent and used for preparation of glass plate. The silica gel is dissolved in water. Then the pourable consistency is seen and the slurry is prepared and that slurry is poured over the plate. So there are four different techniques: pouring, dipping, spraying and spreading. And then the plates are activated at 110 degrees Celsius in oven. Then application of sample is done. So mainly 3 to 5 microliter is ideal sample volume for application. Capillary tubes or micropipettes are used. It should put randomized or equidistance, that is 2 centimeter distance should be there between two spots. It should be sufficiently high so it should not dip into mobile phase. Then the development tank, so that is the chamber in which the plate is to be developed. So different types of tanks are used, okay, and are available also. When the method is not developed, use of beaker is also preferred. So in lab level, mainly the beakers are used. New developing chamber have more advantages, okay, and the lining with the filter paper to the developing tank is very necessary to reduce the edge effect, okay, the curve effect at the end of the plate. To reduce that effect, the filter paper lining is very important. So the mobile phase selection depends upon the various factors: nature of the substance to be separated, nature of stationary phase, mode of chromatography. Separation required analytical or preparative. The range of solvents can be useful as pet ether or what? Pet ether to water. And also organic acid mixtures of acid and base are used. So detecting and visualizing agents are used. So there are two techniques: non-specific method and specific method. So in non-specific method, exact nature of drug is unknown. Specific method, exact nature of drug is known. Okay, so in non-specific method, the iodine chamber is the first in which we visualize our spot. Then the UV chamber or fluorescent compounds are seen at 254 nanometer or 365 nanometer. Then the qualitative analysis is performed by calculating the retention factor. So RF value is the ratio of distance traveled by solute to the distance traveled by solvent. So mainly it ranges from 0 to 1 and ideally it's from 0.3 to 0.8. So advantages of thin layer chromatography: it is a simple and cost effective technique, rapid compared to column chromatography, separation in micrograms is possible, any type of compound can be analyzed, detection is easy and not tedious, can be used as analytical or preparative, corrosive or corn acids can be useful, needs less solvent, stationary phase, less time required. Applications: separation of mixture of drug of chemical or biological origin or plant extracts are done. Then separation of carbohydrates, vitamins, antibiotics, proteins, alkaloids and glycosides is also done. Identification of drugs, identification of related compounds in drug to detect presence of foreign substance in drug, to detect the decomposition products in the drug. So these are the applications of thin layer chromatography.
Now, today we will see how to prepare a TLC plate, okay, for thin layer chromatography. So the requirement for the same are, we will require an empty beaker, okay, then beaker containing distilled water, then silica gel G, which is used for thin layer chromatography, okay. It is with the binder as it is specified over the container, okay. For column chromatography the silica gel is completely different, and for thin layer chromatography the gel is different. So this is required. Then we will require some glass slides, that is TLC plate, a spatula, glass rod and a tissue paper, okay. So firstly we have to clean and dry the glass slides, which I have already done, okay. Then we will place the slide over the tissue paper, and now we will see how to make a slurry. For slurry we will take silica in a beaker, okay. And as per requirement the silica is to be taken. There is no proper measurement for the same. Only the water required is in the double quantity of that your silica gel, okay. So we have taken the silica, and now we will pour some water in it slowly, and will mix with the help of glass rod. Okay, so the slurry is prepared, okay, but it is little bit of thick, so we will pour 1 to 2 drops of water in it again, and the consistency of the silica gel should be pourable, okay. So it will flow over the plate very easily and will get adhere with the plate. So now you can see the slurry is made, which is of pourable consistency. To check, you can hold a drop at the side of the beaker and see if it has a flowing consistency. So it is having a flowing consistency, okay. Okay, now by pouring technique we will pour this silica over the plate, okay. So for this, slightly pour your silica gel over the plate and spread over the plate, okay. And place over the platform to get set that plate at the room temperature. Same way we will prepare the second plate. We'll allow it to dry at the room temperature. The silica gel over the plate should be sprayed very evenly, okay. And now we will wait for some time so that the plate will get dry at the room temperature, and then we will allow this plate to get activate in the oven. So for that we have to set oven at 110 degrees Celsius, and as the temperature gets set, then at that time we will put this plate into the oven and will activate those plate for 30 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius. So now you can see the oven has set to 110 degrees Celsius. Okay. So now we will insert the plates in the oven. Okay. Okay. So now we will insert these plates in the oven. And we'll leave for half an hour so that the plates will get activated properly and it will be ready for sampling and to perform thin layer chromatography of a particular sample. So now we will perform the TLC, that is thin layer chromatography, for detection of diazonine. So here I have taken the sample. Okay, this is the diazonine dissolved in ethanol and this is the extract of diazonine. Okay, we will spot the two samples over the plate. Then the plate which is already prepared by us, okay, previously prepared plate. Then a chamber, that is beaker is there, okay, for TLC chamber. 10 ml of volumetric flask, pipettes, and the solutions we required are toluene and ethyl acetate. As the mobile phase for diazonine is toluene as to ethyl acetate, that is 70:30. The ratio is for 100, so for 10 we will take 7 ml of toluene and 3 ml of ethyl acetate. So firstly we will prepare the mobile phase now, and we will prepare the mobile phase in volumetric flask. 7 ml of toluene, and now we will add 3 ml of ethyl acetate. Now we will mix the mobile phase properly and will disperse this mobile phase in a TLC chamber and will allow the chamber to saturate for 15 minutes. We will cover the chamber with foil and will not disturb this chamber. Okay, so now we will do the spotting of the samples over the TLC plate. the spotting has been done. Okay, and after 15 minutes we will place this plate into the TLC chamber. So now after 15 minutes of chamber saturation, we will place this plate into the TLC chamber. And we'll allow the plate to run near about 70%. Now the plate has been removed from the chamber. We will allow it to dry at the room temperature so that the solvents will get evaporate, and then we will spray the anisaldehyde sulfuric acid reagent over the plate, and we'll place the plate in oven at 110 degrees Celsius, and we'll see the spots over the plate, and then we will calculate the RF value for the same. So after detection and heating in oven at 110 degrees Celsius, the spots were observed. So the first spot is of extract and the second is the isolated diasgenin. So both of them match each other. The RF value for both of them is same. So it is confirmed that the isolated drug is diasgenin. So this is the TLC plate for diasgenin.
So for this thin layer chromatography, sample was prepared by adding 1 milligram of sample in 1 ml of solvent. The solvent used was methanol. Stationary phase used was silica gel G. And the mobile phase is toluene to ethyl acetate, that is 70:30, and the chamber was saturated for near about 15 minutes, and the detection was done by using anisaldehyde sulfuric acid reagent. Okay, it was sprayed over the TLC plate and the plate was heated at 110 degrees Celsius, and then the spots were observed. So this is the thin layer chromatography plate. The spots are spotted over the plate. Then the running takes place while the plate is dipped into the mobile phase. Then the solvent front is noted, and after spraying reagent, the spots are visualized to us. Here is the spotting. These are the samples, and this is the solvent front. So the retention factor is calculated by distance A and distance B. So retention factor is equal to distance traveled by solute, that is distance B, to the distance traveled by solvent, that is distance A, and thus the RF value of the diasgenin sample was calculated. So these are the calculations of retention factor. So the solvent front was 6.5 and the sample was spotted at a distance of 2.5. So the retention factor was found to be 0.38 and it was calculated on the basis that distance traveled by solute to the distance traveled by solvent. So the results obtained were the extraction was performed and the yield was found to be 3.1% and the retention factor of diasgenin was found to be 0.38 after spraying the visualization agent. And these are the questions for Viva. So, biological source of diascorea, that is Diascorea compositum. Structure of diasgenin, which I have already mentioned in slide. And then the procedure for isolation of diasgenin. And then what is chromatography, what is thin layer chromatography, You have to explain it shortly. And the mobile phase for estimation of diastole, that was toluene to ethyl acetate in the ratio 70 to 30. Thank you.